Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh, now I hear you.
It was me. My mic was messed up. Anyway, um, live everyone. Anyway,
Technical difficulties.
I know it happens. It happens to everybody.
I was
Anyway,
about to say.
but hey, it happens to everyone here. Um, okay, now hopefully you can hear things now.
Yep.
Let's see on Nitwitch World. Let's see if we can hear. All right. Yeah, here now. Oh, good. That's good. Anyway, that's good. Anyway, before we can get our stuff, Ozzy, I was just saying that well, I'm gonna cut most of the stuff out anyway. I was saying that I might be moving the Dukect Lounge maybe in the next couple weeks to a new date. Maybe Friday or Saturday. Who knows? I have another poll up on my YouTube communicates, which no one goes to anyway. No one cares about that. But I'll probably put another poll. I will probably put another poll up later this week or maybe after the show and say, okay, which place should I move it, Friday or Saturday night? So that's a little house cleanup. Anyway, let's talk about what we were going to be talking about later today, tonight. Microsoft Series X, and it's supposedly being a big hit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's going to be hard to say for sure one way or the other until we're past the pre-order period. Because, I mean, let's be honest, even the Wii U sold out pre-orders, and we know how that went.
Oh, yeah. I blame mostly Nintendo's just the bad marketing, and they didn't know what it was. But yeah, but here it's you could say that same here because the issues in the Microsoft X, well, they had a bit of issues because they thought they were going to get that instead. Well, they were buying the previous the current gen console, which I just find hilarious.
I mean, it's kind of funny because for anyone that actually wants to get a hold of an Xbox One X for whatever reason, the fact that a bunch of people bought it by accident is really going to suck because they discontinued that model already.
Yeah.
Like right now they're only still making Xbox One S's as far as the current gen consoles. So that might suck for people, the fact that they got bought by a bunch of people by accident.
Well, but yeah, but the reason why I want to talk about that issue is, well, it looks like in Japan, um, it's, I mean, this to me is shocking because it's already doing, it's probably, this is probably the best Microsoft according to many stuff here. Now, let me see if I can get the stuff. All right, let me put the right stuff here. Look up here. I got it. It looks like, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Japan's initial Xbox X and S pre-orders have sold out. This is, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the biggest thing from Microsoft ever.
Yeah. And now I'm sure that they probably had like a smaller allotment for Japan than they do for other countries, but it's still a positive thing for Microsoft that the Xbox Series X and S actually did sell out faster than the PlayStation 5, from what I understand.
Yeah, and I honestly am surprised by this because for its lifespan, the entire Xbox like whole thing in Microsoft, they never really got. It's mostly been Europe and America, and North Americans and Europe and such being very. That's pretty much when you think of the Xbox, you think of Europe and North America and such. But Japan and anything in the East, it's pretty much what Nintendo's and Sony's domain, and it's just it's a bit shocking because I would never thought that and such.
I think Sony's image in Japan has diminished a lot over the past however many years, and that's not just because of the censorship thing going on with certain Japanese games, but they moved their headquarters to California. So as far as the Japanese are concerned at this point, both Microsoft and well, I shouldn't say Xbox and PlayStation are both American brands now, like it or not.
Yeah,
and if you look at the PlayStation 4, can you really name like any first-party Japanese games? I think they had Gravity Rush and Bloodborne, and I can't think anything else.
Let's see. I'm looking first party. I'm looking at that right now. Let's see. There's supposedly there was some things, but I think mostly they're going for that Western audience.
Yeah, and most of the Japanese games that they do get are third-party games, because Final Fantasy, while they managed to get it exclusive for the Final Fantasy VII Remake to the PS4, is not a first-party game. Street Fighter V is not a first-party game. They just paid to keep them exclusive.
Yep, and now, I mean, again, this probably looks like it's going to be Nintendo's race to pretty much keep it that as well, because I think not only they got the handle stuff for the Switch, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do, go in. Supposedly they might be doing a Switch Pro sometime in the future, and if they do that, maybe they can probably get some of the usual suspects of Japanese developers that usually go to Sony or Microsoft to do something like that. And Red World on the YouTube chat saying rumors that the Xbox might buy Sega to create Dreamcast 2, which I don't know about that. That Dreamcast thing has been going on since the Dreamcast died. I'm like, until I see an actual thing, be it E3 next year or some type of video thing from Sega or anything else, the Dreamcast thing is not. I don't think Sega's going to come back in the market anytime soon. I don't see that happening.
It's a lot harder to buy a Japanese company than it is to buy a Western company. Because buying a Western company, you just got to buy all their stocks out. With a Japanese company, they essentially have to agree to let you buy them. Because Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo before, and Nintendo was just like, no.
Oh yeah, that's actually very interesting. Is that they didn't want to it's the same thing. You think you're not going to get something like that. We're not going to take this seriously, and bam, they start their own company and such. They built their own stuff, which is interesting. And it's funny, around that time they bought off Rare, and well, other than the Kinect sports games and Sea of Thieves, I don't think they had a pretty good run with Microsoft.
No, Rare has a similar issue to very soon after Microsoft bought them. Rare kind of started having issues similar to like Blizzard with Activision, where it's like none of the original people are working there anymore. It's not even really the same company.
Yeah, that's a shame. I think that's I think that when you look at the way it handled, I think that there is some good stuff there, but I don't know what they're gonna do with those IPs, which is so sad because there's so much good potential. I mean, honestly, with all the love of the first person, the futuristic shooters, I'm not surprised like maybe 343 or anyone else took a crack at say Jeff was Gemini or whatever. Do something with that series instead of let's do Halo and
I'd really be worried about 343 touching anything else because they've not even had a good track record with Halo. Most of the really memorable Halo games were ones made by Bungie. 343's kind of botched a lot of stuff since taking over. I mean, it took them, 3 years to get the Master Chief Collection working properly, and that was just ports of old Halo games.
And that's sad. And to me, as someone who I was always I bought Halo 2 and 3 during the high runs and such. I played on them. They were fun. But it was I'm like the series could have been a lot handled a lot better. It should have been handled a lot better than it was. And now Microsoft is buying all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, they bought Bethesda and Obsidian, and I'm like, I'm really worried because a lot of people are hyped on this. Like last week, they were hyped. I'm like, do you remember the last time Microsoft bought remember when they bought these things? And I'm like, I'm looking, staring. We'd already previously talked about Rare. I'm like, what makes you think that won't happen to Bethesda or Obsidian and all those other places?
I mean, I think a very big thing is Phil Spencer was not in charge of the gaming division back when all that stuff happened, and he's done a lot to turn Xbox around since the Xbox One launched, which was mainly a screw up because of Don Matrick, who also, was involved in screwing up the PS3 launch. I don't know how this guy keeps getting a job anywhere.
Maybe he just knows how to. He can do a great. Maybe he just does a really good interview.
This is the ultimate con artist in the game industry. Don Matrick keeps getting CEO jobs that he doesn't deserve.
Oh, well, like I said, he just has a really good interview at first, and then next boom. But yeah, go ahead, man.
But I think really though, as far as the Japanese thing goes, I think it is kind of like undebatable that Nintendo is going to win over the PS5 and the Xbox in Japan. PlayStation and Xbox are going to be kind of fighting for second place. I'm not going to just straight out say that I think because of just the way Sony's handled things recently that the Xbox is guaranteed to sell more than them. I can't guarantee that, but I do think PlayStation is going to take a hit because, I mean, when you're making third-party Japanese developers submit their game for approval to the American office in English, that doesn't look good. Like, even people that aren't interested in all those fan service games, that looks very disrespectful. And a lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people think, it's not that easy to change your loyalty to a brand, but the Japanese are like one of the few countries in the world that still believes in the concept of honor, and you have to do business a very specific way over there. And the people that are running the PlayStation brand right now don't care about that.
Oh yeah, it's funny because that started the whole Sony PlayStation brand started because Nintendo disrespected them during the CES in '94, I believe, or '93. I don't know which one it is. They set them up to say, okay, we have this big thing, and then we go with Philips, and we all know how the CDI went, and then they were just left with the hands in the bag, like, wait, what happened? And then they just really built their own stuff up, which
They were already developing the tech. Might as well use it for something.
Yeah, and pretty much kill off Sega. But
Inadvertently.
Yeah, but then
That
again,
was
Sega,
also some of that. Some of that was also Sega's own problems. They really
yeah,
mishandled the Saturn.
yes, let's release it right then with no type of build up at all, because that makes sense.
They had all those add-ons which confused people, and then they released the Saturn, and some reason the Saturn didn't have like any of their iconic game franchises on it. They just were like, oh, people don't care about those anymore. They want 3D Western games, which is weird. It's almost like the Japanese developers made that mistake twice, because then later, like last console generation, Capcom obsessed over that. It's like, we got to make Resident Evil like Call of Duty. No, people don't
And
like Resident Evil for that reason. They like it because
and
it's survival horror.
and also let's make Dante into a completely total unlikable emo prick in DMC Devil May Cry. Which why they had to repeat that? It's terrible.
You know, sometimes a reboot works really well, and sometimes it doesn't just fall flat on its face. It trips and falls down a flight of stairs, which is
Yeah,
what DMC did.
and it's a shame because there's some fun stuff in there. I played
Yeah.
the game. I still have it. It's fun. I need to get the extreme remaster or whatever the things Capcom puts out eventually. But it's sad that they had to pretty much screw themselves over to finally like, oh, we finally got this stuff. Like we got it, and then DMC they came back with DMC 5, which everyone loves that, and they're still waiting. That's gonna get the PS5 thing, right? Which is gonna be on PS5, the DMC Virtual Edition, which looks cool.
Oh, that's exclusive to the PS5. I didn't remember hearing that.
Oh yes,
Is it?
for now.
Oh, fuck.
I wouldn't be surprised that the PC are, or you know what? Screw it. I would not be surprised to make a DMC 5 for the Switch sometime soon. I wouldn't be surprised to the year or two.
It's annoying because you realize PlayStation, like they do less about getting exclusive games and more making it so that the multi-platform games are worse on other platforms. Let's have Spider-Man only be in the PlayStation version of Marvel Avengers, which, I mean, that game has enough other problems with it as it is, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot, but still.
Oh yeah, I watched. I was like, how is it possible that Gotham Knights, via trailer and gameplay footage, and it's not even done yet, outclasses your game? It's supposedly next gen game. I don't even know what is that. What is that, man?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Avengers game, because it's you've seen it. Angry Joe just put out his review for that today, and it's that game. They screwed everything up. And the thing is, it's not like we haven't previously had good superhero games that they could have used as an example, and it's just it shouldn't be that hard.
Let's see, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom, that sort of thing. That Doom, no, that Diablo type situation. But no, it's just, I'm looked at that, and I'm like, man, there's a reason why. It's like, maybe Marvel can just, the video game division, just stick to Spider-Man, because you just can't do anything else. They can't do it, and I'm just. It's sad.
I mean, I know there's people that liked Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but I mean, the other thing is that also, went with a cartooning style instead of having what looked like knockoffs of the cinematic universe versions of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way they looked like they would be the porn parody of the movies.
Or the stunt doubles.
Doubles.
It is. And I'm like, man, this could have been. I think again, if they just, I did not like the look before. I was like, I wasn't into it before. And when it came out, I knew I was right, because it was mediocre. And you had to do all this. I'm like, and they said, oh, don't worry, we'll patch it. And like, again, like they said, the Halo collection earlier before, like a year or two, it's gonna be running perfect. And I'm like, okay, if it's in a year or two, then I'll buy the Ultimate Edition, and I'll get it. And they're like, why are you buying the Ultimate Edition? Like, well, that means the game's finished then.
Maybe the characters I actually want to play as will be in it by then. Because I mean, that's the thing is you got 6 characters, and granted, yeah, that's the size of the Avenger team in the movie. But the thing is, you look at these other team-based games that they've had in regards to superheroes. You look at Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You got a lot more than 6 characters in that.
Oh yeah,
and it's much more likely that a character that the individual player really likes is going to be in the game. The more you have, when you only got 6, it's like very easy to miss somebody's favorite. Especially when I know they've been trying to push Kamala Khan a lot, and I don't have an issue with her as a character.
Me neither.
But she's not super popular. She's not as popular as they want to pretend she is.
Yeah, they're building her. I'm like, to me, the worst thing about that is that Marvel Comics screwed the whole thing up is because they introduced her, they did all the stuff. And then you have these, let's do these big events while they're trying to set their footing, because that always works, right? Just do another big old super by gosh event while they're trying to start this new character. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then by the time these things happen, do another event, then another. Oh, she likes Captain Marvel. Oh, now she hates her. I'm like, it gets to a point that there's no foundation for the character.
That's the other thing that's really funny. She's like, one of her big things is she's a big Captain Marvel fangirl. Captain Marvel's not even in the game.
Yeah, well, that's, again, they'll say DLC, but I'm like, I wouldn't see it there in the first place. And also, one thing I don't like, I really am frustrated about this is, what are her rogues gallery? Does she have one? Does she have a villain? Or is it something?
I don't. It's hard to say because I haven't really read her comics that much. I've kind of, like, I've seen little snippets of her where she's charming. I don't have, like I said, I don't have an issue with her as a character, but I think that she's more of a team player, so she's kind of more fought already established villains that were already associated with other characters.
Yeah, I'm looking at Comics Vine. Let's see. The villains of her is like, yep. Annihilus, Becky St. Jude, see, Celestial Destroyer, Chuck Worth. Who the heck is Chuck Worthy? Just have no description whatsoever. That's just random dude. Deathbringer. Okay, that's 2 issues. Discord, Zoe Zimmer's ex-boyfriend, Doc X, a computer virus, okay. Dr. Faustus, okay, that's from Captain America villain. Dr. Gregory Balthazar Knox, okay, that's something. Dr. Mervena, a Kree genetic scientist. She's part of Captain Marvel's World Gallery. Dreadbot, Ember Crade, she has the power to bring video games to life. Okay. High Evolutionary. Jeffrey Patrick, who outlawed superheroes below the age of 21. I'm like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. I'm like, wait, so you're okay to be a vigilante until your 21st birthday, even though vigilantism is against the law. Wait.
I don't know why you mentioned somebody having a superpower to bring video games to life. Made me think of that really awful idea they had for the New Warriors, where they had the one guy who got his power from internet gas. It's like,
and that's connected to Jeffrey Patrick, so that was the New Warriors, which I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works, and and it's a shame because I looked online. There's some great fan art, and actually people who actually say, okay, let's make this work, and they made it work.
Yeah. They took the awful designs and they're like, how can we make these designs look better? And they made them look better. It's like, yeah, that's the problem with the comic industry. You get what you pay for, and they don't want to pay any of their talent.
Yeah, it's a shame. But
we really derailed the Xbox conversation, didn't we?
It connects to it. It connects to it because not treating people with respect and honor to it. I mean, that's what the fan base is Sony. They don't like the fact that Sony's left and they're looking to new people inside. They're looking for like, hey, Microsoft, they're making overtures and they finally seem to break through. Well, because of Sony's screw up. And Nintendo's going to probably get some more fans because, hey, their games are still selling like hotcakes. And the Switch is, oh, man, let me see. It's still, it's still selling, even though people are still pissed they haven't, did a direct anytime soon.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is, like, the Switch was guaranteed to do good over there because the Japanese like handhelds, they like mobile games, they like stuff that you can take with them on the go because most of them have to use public transportation. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, most people in Japan do not own their own car. They got to go on the train to get to work. They could spend an hour or more traveling to their job, so they want to make the most out of the time because that means they got less spare time when they're at home if they got to take all this time getting to work. And the thing is, PlayStation abandoned that market. They stopped the Vita they didn't support the Vita properly to begin with. Like, they gave it first party games like the first year, and everything after that was just third party. And then they're like, we're not going to do a Vita 2. It's like, okay, you basically just gave your Japanese fan base the middle finger because they prefer handhelds.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I think in the next couple of I think it's going to be a really big shift. And I think Sony can, if they lose big on this thing, which I don't know if they can or they are going to be third or whatever. I think they might have to be like, you know what, we might have to go back, like crawling back to Japan. They might have to. And I don't know the Japanese population are going to like that. I don't know. I mean, they have to do some really my culpas.
Because even if Sony still comes in second place, I still think it's going to make it so that Microsoft is going to have substantially higher numbers than they have in previous consoles. Another thing somebody pointed out that works in Microsoft's favor in this instance is the Xbox Series S is the smallest out of all the systems. And they that with systems that aren't handheld, they prefer smaller things. That was like one of the big negatives for the first Xbox was the thing was freaking huge. It was like the size of a cinder block. You remember how big that thing was?
Oh yeah, I remember the big old Xbox. The original one was big.
And with the Duke controller.
Yes, I still have the original one, by the way, but the controller S. I don't know. I mean, that's what it is and such. Then you have, they went, mainstream a bit with the 360, made it smaller, and they made it smaller with made the same for the next one, and now they're just making it as small as they can too, and it looks like a frying pan and such. So, but yeah, it works.
I might eventually get a Series S because I don't have my TV doesn't even do 1080p, let alone 4K. I have a 720p TV still because I don't care as long as it works. I don't care that it's not in a super high resolution.
I have a 1080p, but I'm like, no, I'm happy with just doing it like 720 or 1080. I don't really know. 4K, I've seen stuff 4K. It looks nice, but I'm like, it's not worth like how much money it is. You know what I mean?
Like if you're someone that's got a lot of money and you got a big living room and you want to have a massive TV, it makes sense. But not everybody's in that situation,
especially now. But overall, though, I think it's going to be a real interesting race to it. I think it's going to be a real interesting, console generation with Nintendo. Once again, just like the Wii. They don't follow. I think the best thing they ever did is, not concentrating on what the bigger people want. And they, I think that's their biggest weapon is just doing their own thing. And that's what's going to change. I think, Sony and Microsoft is in this internal dance. And I think Nintendo is just marching to their own drum. And And now, and look at this, over 55 million sold, passing the SNES. And honestly, I'm still in like the Wii still is the number one thing out there over over that many, over 100 million sold.
I think the PS2 sold more than the Wii, but
Yeah.
the Wii is still very high up there, and it's a more recent thing than the PS2. One thing I think is actually going to be interesting to see, because Sony has already announced that first-party titles on the PS5 are going to be $70. Like, so now, to get good press, all Microsoft has to do is say their first-party titles are still going to be $60. It's kind of like what happened with the Xbox One, where they tried to push that stupid shit where you weren't going to be able to trade in your games or let people borrow them. And all Sony had to do was make that stupid video where they're like, this is how trading games on the PlayStation 4 works, and hands them the game. Like, all Microsoft has to do is say, our games are going to be $60 still.
Yeah, $60.
And they get instant positive press because they're not doing the shitty thing their competitors doing.
It's amazing. And now just looking at stuff now and such about the next PS Ratchet and Clank game, Rift Apart, which is going to be in 4K, and that's all that good stuff. But I'm waiting to see what the price is, and hopefully it won't be as a disappointment as the last game in the series. Before the the remat break. But that's my review, which is it's by the way, my Ratchet and Clank Cracking Time and Into the Nexus reviews are coming, people. It's finally done. The video part is done. All I need to now is the audio, which is hopefully won't take me another 4 or 5 months. But anyway, thank you very much, Ozzy, for being here, and thanks for your input.
Nope, no problem. I mean, I don't really do videos myself anymore, but I still like to help out my friends when I got time.
No problem, man. Thank you, and hopefully one day I might join your Twitch streams and mispronounce words when the game thing there, and I'll just do have a good laugh.
Maybe we'll do another New Year's stream. You came to one of those.
Yeah, like 5 years ago. But anyway, all right. See you later, man.
Later.
Peace. That is Ozzy Kane. Go check out his Twitter. I will put the Twitch thing there, and after the show, and you will go and watch him, and hopefully he'll get more views like that. Anyway, let's continue the show now, shall we? We'll continue the show, and we will talk a little about Quibi. Remember that? Well, it looks like Quibi is being taking Quibi is not looking good. And we're going to talk more about that when we come back here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully you will continue to join me right after this break here on the lounge. We'll be right back right after this.
Find us, a couple of grinders, trying to find our way out and put this darkness behind us. And underground is my oration, sound integration. But situation is we're surrounded by light negation. This black is pitch cause we're trapped by our violent souls. In a deep mind with deep rhymes, won't keep my self-control. Too many foes, we feel snake bit and we won't take it. Enemies need their face hit, we going ape shit. Hell is not confinement within this mind. now trapped and enshrined by my own mind. Shoot through these tunnels and keep it moving, no knuckle dragging. It's like a jungle, etc. Keep zigging and zagging. These lizards ready to fire in military attire. Heaters, cannons, entire arsenals, bangers for hire. We only got double barrels, but we don't monkey with them. Just throw shots and we hit them to this industrial rhythm. Still searching for the light, still more to fight. Still at war with our plight, but still we're sure of our own collective might. Hell is my confinement within this mind. Now trapped and enshrined by my own mind. Hell is my confinement within this mind. No way out for running out of time. Time to get fractious, we practice guerrilla tactics. Regular G's can't match this, so I ain't trying to attack us. I'm a bad boy like Diddy, but I ain't talking Sean John, cause it's on like Son of Khan. Gots to get our chimp on. That means we simply simulate simians simultaneously. And all y'all snakes beastin' to kill us is living dangerously. Straight bananas is the conflict these opponents hand us. So battle status in these catacombs, we got no manners. All I know is pain to give the same. All I have ingrained is hate. Misery of shame forever will remain. So I must regain my faith. This all seems endless, threats come relentless in this zoo. No one defends us, and they won't commend us when we're through. It don't matter, cause I'm after something resembling peace. I get madder every other day that this shit don't cease. Since our conception, downward has been my life's direction. Had no protection from evil factions and predilections. Heart of a killer for gorilla, pillar of coffin fillers. Nothing vanilla about us, two thriller minute gorillas. Our main position, this mission is to improve conditions, and it's our own volition. We ain't looking for permission. Vanish from our position like we're magicians. In addition, my plan to see freedom's light comes to fruition. Hell is my confinement within this mind. Now trapped and enshrined by my own mind. Hell is my confinement within this mind. No way out for running out of time. We ain't taking it. We going ape shit. We ain't taking it. Yeah, we going ape shit. We going ape shit. We going ape shit. We going ape shit.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, with me, Dukect T, back with you once again. Man. So, remember how great Quibi was? I mean, I know most people don't, but they had a moment. Well, not really, but no, they never really did. But yeah, Quibi, well, it's not really that good right now because Quibi is. Oh, no. Oh, let's go back here. No, dang it, I just want to read this. Ruined it. Let's see. There it is. Let's go on Yahoo. There it is. I can't even go out there. Let's see. It's Vox. Here it is. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Quibi. After 6 months and $1.8 billion, around $2 billion, Quibi wants a new owner. It says right here. Well, Quibi was supposed to be a revolutionary video service that was supposed to fill the gap between YouTube and HBO, bringing short premium clips starring celebrities like Liam Hemsworth and Chrissy Teigen to your phone for a price. Even though YouTube is a thing. Because, hey, that worked out so much for YouTube. You know, yeah, YouTube Red, that was a great thing. Yeah, Cobra Kai. Oh, wait, that went to Netflix and they got a higher audience. Interesting. Oh, yes, Quibi. Oh, it's exactly. Ozzy, Quibi, is that an off-brand Q-tip? Well, we probably could sell more if it was. No, it's a streaming service that no one cared. In fact, the only time I actually watched or cared about it was in the NBA, I think, postseason playoffs a couple weeks ago. I finally saw some commercials, which they finally did spend some of that money on some commercials during some NBA playoffs, and I think some around AEW Dynamite as well. I was like, finally, there's some stuff on Quibi. And I heard there was a lot of decent stuff there, but no one really cared to watch. But anyway, it was this spring that Quibi started the app, and guess what? Now it's headed to a fire sale right here, according to the article. It says 6 months after launching. 6 months! Couldn't last 6 months. That is a new record, man. And this is, again, from people who are successful in the industry. Jeffrey Katzenberg, DreamWorks, and before that was like, was really behind Disney and such. And it failed spectacularly. It was, right here, supposedly in this, the Wall Street Journal reported that Quibi was considering options, including a sale, raising more money, or going public by backing into a sale company. Katzenberg declined to answer via email. His company, it says via statement, in his pitch requires that the service has had a successful launch. Even though right here, it well-documented failures to attract users. During a pandemic, where we're all locked down, and they still couldn't get any. That is amazing. That takes talent. What has Liam Hemsworth done other than date Miley Cyrus? Well, he's starting a Quibi show, which I think that actually is, rate lower there. I don't think it was actually possible, but, it's gone even lower, people. They've gone lower. But here's the thing. But the practical thing right here says about Quibi is how much exactly the buyer would get. There's some cash that the company has said has more than $200 million on hand, as well as the tech Quibi built to bring its video to your phone. It's practically proud of a turnstile system where viewers can rotate their phone 90 degrees to see a different version of the video. Yay! I mean, even though YouTube pretty much has the same thing, like you just turn the flip up, flip down. That's it. Wow. I mean, I'm really about to go and sign me up, please. Is it what else says? Okay, but what about the shows? I mean, okay, there's not much. There's not much shows there. In fact, the Quibi show, there was actually a show on Quibi, ladies and gentlemen, about flipping like out the like horrible stuff happened. I think there was a house flipping show on Quibi. Let me see. Well, let's see if I can find it because it was really disturbing. It was murder house flip, and let me see if I can here it is. Here's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can stop the screen here and put it up. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Murder House Flip. A true crime makeover. An unconventional home renovation show that takes on country's most infamous homes, one known for the mysterious murders within their walls. Because hey, when I want to sit down and watch a bite-sized show, this is perfect prime time entertainment. Just wow. Oh gosh, that is what you know what, that is prime time entertainment, people. Oh, it's not no. Mixer had a Aussie Mixer had a strong route. They actually did things. They actually got people will talk about it. Quibi is just horrible mismanagement, horrible shows, and let's see if I can actually find the thing before we can look upon this stuff. Let's see if I can see if here we are. Here it is. It actually plagiarizing of YouTube shows. Actually, that's right. It's known for that and plagiarizing YouTube shows. Memory Hole, Quibi's Memory Hole. That's what it is. It is from Memory Hole, a show from the new streaming service Quibi has been plagiarizing art and everything from Everything is Terrible. Look at this. They actually did this. They actually stole this. Look at this, man. This is this company that raised over $200 million and they had to steal from a YouTuber. That is, I mean, that's just sad, man. Look at this. This is you're stealing stuff from YouTubers and people who actually put the hard work into and such, man. That's just sad, man. I know. They didn't grow, and with this stuff, they didn't deserve to grow. Yeah, they did. I mean, this stuff right here. They just. I know it's allegedly at this point, but I don't know anymore. It's sad. It's really just sad. And here's something. Let me just continue the other thing here. Let's see. What about the shows and such? But it says Netflix interested that once a show want to take the show, it makes it popular for its many users. The show can be really popular. Schitt's Creek, the show that won 7 Emmys, including for Best Comedy last night, used to be on something called the Pop Network. I remember that because, well, it interrupted the Impact Wrestling's. It had 5 minutes of a preamble show of like at the first season, interrupted the main event of Impact Wrestling for their World Championship. Oh, that was beautiful. And you like, the shows I think is decent. I mean, and such, but yet they made it to a big hit. Cobra Kai, again, just for the second season finale, which has better choreography than most Marvel shows. Yeah, it just really is good. Go watch Cobra Kai. But yet, Quibi, it doesn't actually own the show. It's paid for. It has licensed for several years, at which point they can go back to the companies that make them. So if you get your hands on, say, The Most Dangerous Game, which is on YouTube, the first episode is on YouTube. you're gonna have to take advantage because you know they're gonna probably put that whole thing up on Netflix after this whole thing. Who knows? But yeah, and I like the fact that when this thing launched, if I remember correctly, I remember that he blamed COVID-19 because Quibi's lack of success. I'm like, really? Let me see if I can find it. If I can find that quote, if I can find it, because I know it. If I can find a quote, I will show it to you. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, here it is, right here, deadline.com. Please stop here. Put this right here. Boom. Quibi hit COVID-19. Like, yeah, he said right here was a beta launch. Well, of course, okay, they said that. And Quibi barely got anything. It barely showed up at all. And then, let's see where it is. He blamed, let's see, COVID-19's. Yeah, he says COVID-19, which he blamed COVID-19 for this. I'm like, no, it wasn't, because your whole thing, your service wasn't a good idea to begin with. Quibi was a terrible idea. You can't even stream. You have to watch on your phone. You can't tell people on social media about the show you watch on Quibi, which is amazing. Even HBO Max or anything else, which had a terrible launch, still outgained you, and they're still getting more people watching. Peacock, that got 10 million. That thing is chugging along. Hell, this thing I was going to talk about earlier, DC Universe, that dunked on you, Quibi. Even if it was small, it still dunked on you. It's sad, man. It is pathetic. Oh, look, Watch Mojo. At least Watch Mojo actually had, ladies and gentlemen, at least something tangible and such, and they have their top 10 list. Quibi will be, when it goes away, there will be nothing. And I mean nothing. People will never remember this thing ever again. And that is the true fate of Quibi. The true fate of it, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, when someone does buy it, oh gosh. But see, that story right there in the Witch world is more interesting than everything Quibi ever has done. Yeah, that's actually the truth, man. So true, and it's a horrible story, but more interesting than anything Quibi has ever done. And then we're gonna take a little break here. We'll listen to some. Let's see. Let's listen to a little bit of Rumble. All the music you listen to tonight is from OC Remix, and it is from Donkey Kong Country 2 series. Go on OCRemix.com after the show. Download the stuff because they make great music and such. Go listen to them. They're awesome. They're great. That's all the songs here from the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back right after this. We're going to listen to some Rumble. And right there on the Dukect Lounge, we'll be right back right after this. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for joining me, Duke CT, here live on the Dukect Lounge. Remember, you can see me here on the Dukect Lounge, right here on the YouTube channel, also on TalkShoe.com, also on Google Play and such. You can download the stuff there. Also, you can find me, Duke CT, on ManExpression.com and on the FreakinAwesomeNetwork.com as well. Oh yeah, to hear the stuff there. So get on that. But let's get into the sad news, ladies and gentlemen. DC Universe is pretty much no more. It will be not in the same way as it's not going to be in the it's not going to be as it once were and everything. It's going to be a really different thing, and I honestly I'm sad about that because, quite honestly, I was the first person here, first one, ladies and gentlemen. I was the first one who actually I really bought in the DC universe. I bought in, and and I honestly there was some fun stuff. I honestly thought that DC Universe at least will have at least a steady beat, and it did. It did have a good run. I think it had a pretty good stuff. It grew, but as it is right now, DC Universe, well, since all of the shows from DC Titans to Swamp Thing to Harley Quinn to Doom Patrol to all of them, they're gone. And as you see, it's going to be relaunched into a comic-centric platform. And it's not really surprising because since HBO Max was a thing and they're going to put this up there, DC Universe as the streaming platform was on borrowed time. It was on borrowed time. And as someone who is a fan and someone who I actually read comics I haven't read for a long time because of DC Universe. So I'm always thankful for that. But it looks like they're going to be, changing, and it's going since all of it, is going to be on HBO Max. And hey, I'm really hopeful that HBO Max can, bring these characters and shows to more of a bigger audience, like Doom Patrol. I believe Doom Patrol season 2 was great. I hope season 3 is even better. See what maybe they can bring back Swamp Thing. I hope that happens. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be. It's pretty much. It's going to be DC. They're going to have DC Universal subscriptions will be transferred over to DC Universe Infinite. That's going to be it. It's going to be more comic book phase. There's going to be comic books. And it's going to be a message board, and all the video stuff is going to HBO Max, which I'm a bit sad, but because again, I love the stuff. I love watching Stargirl. I love it. It felt like a high-end, exclusive club for really good DC shows, and even though they're from Berlanti and such, they feel like they touch more of the heart of the comics instead of. I don't know what it was in the CW verse, but man, I don't know what it was. They just acted stupid. The Flash and everything else, but DC Universe, I felt like the shows had their life on their own. They didn't really connect, and they just it felt like, man, this show each show felt like they cared. Even the messed up stuff in DC Titans, it felt like they had their hearts somewhat in the right place. I mean, that's what it is. But yeah, and I think that the show could have been even. I think the way it could have been. There's so much stuff they could have done. I feel quite honestly, I feel honestly let's see. Oh, it's getting up there. Just take this out. And see if everything up here. Um, yeah, it looks like it's spinning there. But yeah, the DC universe is no longer going to be in you know, it's no longer going to be the thing. It's sad, but I hope that, you know, let me just see if I can change it one more time. Let's see if it works this time. See if it does. All right. See here. All the stuff here looks good. Looking good. Hopefully. But yeah, it looks like again, it's going to be to read all the great comics, all this other stuff. But yeah, they're gonna get first digital comics first. And yeah, and I honestly, there's gonna be some stuff planned from 2021. My hope is that COVID is not going to be a thing anymore. That's the hope anyway. But yeah, that's the hope, ladies and gentlemen. That's the hope. And I hope that we are going to have at least better, 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 better content coming. And I hope that again, it looks like it's going to be, um, it's going to be a rough. I think it's going to be a very bumpy patch for people who probably in the DC. They feel like okay. They feel a little. I bet they feel a little sad because they probably knew this was coming because HBOMAX always said that. But I'm going to reiterate this because again, I think the DC Universe app, which it wasn't a big community, it was a small community, and there was some really good stuff. Again, I think Swamp Thing was really great. You have again Stargirl, all these great shows. Doom Patrol. I felt like it was at a very exclusive club, club with high quality video content and with really good comics from the past and present. And I hopefully they can come back to that and such. And I know HBO Max is struggling, but I think it's getting better. They're increasing their subscriptions, and people. I think that the Snyder Cut, for better or worse, will get people into it. But I think it's going to be a real interesting. Yeah, DC Universe changes a lot. Yeah, it does. I truly think in the next couple of years, the DC Universe app, even though it didn't last as long as we thought it was going to, they're going to be like, you know what? It changed things. It changed, and it was a really positive experience for everybody. It was a really positive experience. It felt like a very positive experience for people to say, hey, you know what? Sure, it didn't last long. It didn't have the staying power of many other apps, and it was in a confusing time after the Time Warner stuff and everything else, and AT&T, the AT&T Time Warner merger, and all the stuff there. So I mean, heck, they were called. People said DC Universe was dying, but yet like, oh, it's dying and everything, and then they were like, talk to people who are like, oh, we had to increase, got to hire more people, so they had to hire more people and such. So it's it was eventually, I think it was people were saying, but it lasted as long as it did. I tip my hat to it, but I say this though. I met a lot of cool people there, and hopefully the relationships will still stay there. But I hope that HBO Max will give them the bigger audience that those shows deserve, and I hope that DC Comics Universe, the new comics and the old comics, people will have a chance to read them and be like, "Wow, this is really cool, good stuff." From Kingdom Come to the Injustice comics to stuff like old stuff like 40s and 50s and 60s comic books and such. I never thought I'd ever read about characters and all these other runs people had. I never got to read at the time. So I think DC Universe app, for all of its good and bad and all everything in between, I think it did some real positive stuff, and I think the shows there will be its lasting legacy. And also, it lasted longer than Quibi, so they can hang their head on that. So, anyway, I think that's a good ending for the show. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be here next Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, thanks so much for joining me. It's Duke CT here. Peace and love. Shout out once again to Ozzy and Nitwit for y'all joining me on the YouTube. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.